Oh boy, here we go. Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1, Florida, Edmonton. End of the first. So we're sitting right now in between the first and second period. And I got my notes ready to go on my phone. Oh boy. Well, so that was what I would call an insanely fast paced opening to the game. Like, it was just Edmonton down in the zone, getting some shots, and then Florida's pushing them out and getting into the Edmonton zone, and just so much back and forth. And then finally, the ice is broken. Reinhart gets the puck up to Barkov, slides it across to Verhage, who just flips it in right over top of Skinner. The icebreaker goal of the finals. Florida, I was about to say Edmonton. Florida is up 1-0 on the first shot. That was the first shot they had of the game, too, on net. Like, whew, man. But even after that, the intensity is just not dialed down. It's just more back and forth and back and forth. And then McDavid goes in and does McDavid things. But Bob shuts the door. Ooh. After seeing what McDavid did against Dallas in that one game, and then proceeding to have him essentially almost do the same thing again, but the door get closed. Ooh. Oh, man. That was just nuts. Just absolutely insane. And then we got the first penalty of the game. It's going to Ekholm. Now, again, as a Canadian, not necessarily something that I want to see coming from the Canadian team in the finals here, but the stick is in the feet of the guy with the puck. That's going to get called. There's no arguing that one. It's just, it is what it is, right? Now, Florida had some pretty good chances on that power play. You know, some pretty decent looks. There was the one, I don't remember who it was for, Rodriguez, I think? Right on the doorstep, pretty close, almost had it, but just couldn't connect on the puck. So they had some pretty good chances, but the penalty was killed off. And then Ekholm comes flying out of the box, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be it. This is the moment. This is when Edmonton's gonna get on the board." Nope. He stops up, backs off, waits for backup, and then Florida just comes in and breaks it up. That sucked. That was kind of unfortunate. I'm not gonna lie. That looked like a really good opportunity for Edmonton to actually do something and get something going there, but unfortunately, it just didn't connect. So that kind of sucked. Then we got some more back and forth, of course. Got to check my notes. My notes are sitting here on my desk. I got to check my notes. I'm not going to remember everything. You got a penalty going to Gustav Forsling. It's the same thing that happened to Ekholm. Stick in the feet of the guy with the puck. Now, it's not exactly the same situation that happened with Ekholm, because Ekholm tripped the guy with the puck and then the guy fell. Whereas here, Forsling tripped the guy with the puck and then it was kind of like a weird, oh, I'm losing my balance kind of a thing, and then he fell. But still, it's the guy with the puck. It's going to get called. Like that, as much as we don't want penalties in the playoffs, if you're going to hinder the guy with the puck, the penalty is going to be called. It just is. Now, that power play, I'm not kidding. I wrote in my notes, the first word of my note on that power play is literally the word, wow. What a kill by Florida. That was so impressive. I was very, very impressed by that penalty kill. Like, it was nuts. There was the one really, really good chance by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. But if I'm looking at that power play, for Edmonton as a whole, that was kind of it. That was kind of it. There really wasn't much else there on that power play. Right? Like, it just kind of felt, I don't want to say it felt weak, because it definitely wasn't, but they just didn't get those shots off. They didn't get those chances that Florida had on their power play, that it just didn't feel right. but it wasn't a bad power play. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't necessarily say it looked bad though. And then again, Edmonton coming in, putting on some pressure. You got Hyman right in front, looking for that screen, looking for a tip, looking for the tip. Just misses. I don't know if he lost his balance on his skate or if Bobrovsky just happened to clip his heel. I couldn't quite tell from all those camera angles. But he falls down, lands on top of Bobrovsky, and then you finally get the pushing and shoving. That is what we've been expecting to happen. And I'm sure it's going to happen a whole lot more over the course of the rest of this series. But that's where it finally shows up right there. And I think at this point, there's 30 some odd seconds left in the period? Whew, we're getting close. We're getting close. And then the guy that scored the goal, Carter Verhaeghe, errant high stick. I'm not going to lie, I didn't catch it happen. But obviously, I that's what they're saying, right? High stick, he's going in the box. It's an errant high stick, right? And it's right at the end. There's 8.8 seconds left in the period. That's not when you want to take a penalty. Because now you're going to get the big boys on Edmonton rested between periods on the intermission. And now they're going to come back in with a minute and 52 seconds left on a power play. Like, to start the second period, that's, yeah. So, overall, what do I think of the first period? I think it was honestly decently even. I wouldn't necessarily say that one team over the other was outperforming. Obviously, Florida got the goal, put them up 1-0. Edmonton was getting their chances. The Oilers were getting their chances on Bobrovsky, but they just couldn't crack the door. That's kind of really all it felt like. So, now, we're moving forward. We're going to go back in, check out the second period, and I will be back after the second period. Here we go. Okay, we're back. Second intermission here. I got a whole bunch more notes on that second period, but holy. So, we got to start at the beginning of the period. It's power play for the Oilers, and the same thing happened as the first one. Again, it just, something wasn't connecting. I don't know what it was. There was this one great chance by Hyman, I believe. But it was just high, over top of the net. Like, one good chance. The rest of it was just kind of there, right? Same thing as the first power play. Now, we're basically coming right out of the power play. Montour just kind of dumps it in. And then there's just this absolutely beautiful pass by Sam Bennett right over to Evan Rodriguez. And it just cleanly slides right into the net, just past Skinner. And there it is. Florida is up 2-0, and we aren't even 3 minutes into the second period. Wow. Not how I thought that period was going to start, considering the Oilers had a power play. Yeah. Now, the Oilers did really start putting on the pressure. They had a whole bunch of dangerous chances right out front. But again, Bobrovsky is just shutting the door on the Oilers. I swear, like genuinely, I swear, Florida literally just went, okay, here's the playbook that Edmonton uses on all of the goals and every time they score. What can we do to beat that? Oh, that's what? Okay, simple, easy, let's just do that. Like, genuinely, it's insane. Absolutely insane. All right, now let's continue on. Let's continue talking about some stuff. Now, I would honestly say that after that goal and after all of those really fast chances, basically right after that goal, it was pretty calm, I would say, for about 7-ish minutes or so. And then the Oilers are caught on a change. All of the forwards, all three, the left, the center, and the right wing, are all caught changing. And so Florida just gets this huge, beautiful opportunity handed to them on a 4-on-2, right? And then Broberg blocks the original shot. And then Skinner Skinner saves rebound after rebound by Tarasenko. Like, I think he was credited with like 2 or 3 shots alone on those rebounds. And Skinner just happens to control all that craziness. And the Oilers stave off a third goal. And you'd think that with that, it would be pretty good. And the Oilers would come back to life. But nope. Actually, I was wrong. That wasn't like 7 minutes later. This was 7 minutes later. Was it 7 minutes later? See, now I'm getting the whole period mixed up in my head, and I honestly don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But the Oilers do get a chance. Janmark has a break. Bobrovsky stops it. Somebody, I'm not entirely sure who it was, but somebody runs into Bobrovsky, and then all hell breaks loose. We've got sticks everywhere, helmets everywhere. It is a garage sale. Again, that's what we've been expecting, so it's not like that's anything crazy, right? Now, again, you also have to look at some of the people that are on Florida, right? You got people like Tkachuk and Bennett who are kind of tagged as rats a little bit, but still, there's a little bit of pushing and shoving, a little bit of more of pushing than shoving going on compared to what happened at the first period. And there's penalties that are coming out of this. So, who's getting penalties? What are the penalties? I don't know. We're going to a commercial break. I'm not kidding. Right after that, they go to a commercial break, which isn't necessarily a surprise, but I'm like, what are the penalties? I want to know. Is anybody getting a power play? I don't even know. So the penalties come out. It's 2 for 2, essentially. Connor Brown, Matthias, I don't know how to say that name. Janmark go in the box for the Oilers. Stenlund and OEL go in the box for Florida. It's a 2 for 2, stays 5-on-5. Immediately on the next draw, Sam Bennett plainly just cross-checks Leon Draisaitl right in the numbers, right into the boards. That's a penalty. Cross-checking. Edmonton to the power play. Do they actually connect on this one? Do they score? No. No, they don't. Again, huge chances, but nothing breaks. Nothing breaks at all. Right? Like, there was the one with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Again, why do I feel like I've mentioned him before? Oh, wait, I did in the first period. Same thing. A huge chance. Bobrovsky is flopping and sprawling all over the place. And he just shoots it high and wide over the net. And it's like, just gone. Another beautiful opportunity, and it just happened to be missed. And that was kind of it for the period. That happened at I think there was 7-8 minutes left in the period when that happened. And then for the rest of it, the period was just kind of silent. Not much happened, honestly. Now, I will say this. After the end of the first period, I didn't say it felt like this game was going either. I didn't feel it as though it was going places. After that period, as the broadcasters actually said, it feels like the ice is tilted towards Florida. Okay, that sounds weird because it makes it sound like it's going to. The ice is tilted in Florida's favor. And I agree with them on that one. I do think that Florida is starting to rally here and really starting to take control of this game. And it kind of feels like Edmonton is just trying to play catch up. It does. And that's got to be fixed, really. If Edmonton wants to come back in this game, they've got to stop playing catch up, pull themselves out of this hole, pull themselves out of the rut, beat Bobrovsky, figure out what they need to do to get that puck in the back of the net, and then the floodgates might open. I really don't know. But, yeah. Okay. 2 periods down. 1 period left. Let's see what happens, shall we? I guess. I guess. There we go. 3rd period done. Game's over. Florida takes it. 3-0. And that was probably the most boring 3rd period I've experienced. Actually paying attention to hockey before? Like, actually paying attention to the NHL. That was probably the most boring 3rd period I have ever experienced. So, what happened? Well, let me tell you. Not much. Honestly, really not much. Like, both teams got their chances. Both Edmonton and Florida had some really good chances over the course of that period to get a goal, but they just didn't. You know, Florida got an empty netter, right? Barkov gets the puck to Luostarinen, and he just pots the empty netter. There's 4 seconds left in the period. 4 seconds left in the game. That makes it 3-0. Bobrovsky gets a shutout. The only other thing, like, majorly that I think happened in that period was really just Corey Perry getting an interference penalty. And, I mean, like the other penalties, I'd be like sitting here being like, yeah, that's clearly a penalty. But I don't know how interference penalties work at all. I don't understand them. I really don't. If you do, please tell me, how do interference penalties work? I genuinely do not understand them sometimes. But, yeah. And I mean, obviously, you know, Florida didn't score on the power play. Otherwise, it would have been 4-0. So there we have it. Game 1 is in the books. Florida takes it 3-0. They take a series lead 1-0. Game 2 is on Monday. Will Edmonton bounce back and split the games in Florida? Or will the Florida Panthers take a 2-0 lead before heading out north, up north, northwest to Edmonton? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, that is going to be it for this one. I look forward to the game on Monday. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see if the Oilers can bounce back. Anyway, we shall see exactly what happens.